Hey there, we are going to start percents today. And the first thing, no one ever thinks about it, but percent means per 100, like the cent back in the old days, pennies, 100 cents in a dollar, 100 years in a century. That's the root word there. So today, this first one is just a super simple introduction so that we can get used to converting between fractions and percents and decimals. Because you never know what format the work you're going to get is in. All right, so converting a percent to a fraction. Well, I did two here, and it's exactly what you do. Use 100 as denominator. And because it's been a while, it's just the bottom number. Ta-da, there we go. All right, so 7 out of 100, 23 out of 100. I'm sure you've already filled these in already. 79 out of 100, 81 out of 100. Ta-da, it's fraction. Sometimes though, oh, here, let me finish this. 25, 40, and 84. In my world, in my math class, you cannot give me a fraction that isn't completely reduced. And I always give two choices. If you want, you can turn it over to a decimal. That's the lazy way. But you know what? Let's just do it the right way. So what you have to think of is a number that divides 25 and 100. Well, 25 divides into there, and 25 divides into there. So we divide both of them by the same number, and that's going to give you 1/4. And I suspect a whole bunch of you kind of skip this one, and you know that 25% is a quarter. It's one of those kind of fraction percent decimal things that you should just know. All right, 40 over 100. Well, I'm going to cheat the first thing. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is move my paper. I'm going to divide each by 10 by just crossing that off. And now I can look at this and go, 2 will divide into those. And that's going to give me 2 out of 5. If you were clever and divided by 20 right away, that's completely fine. So whether you take 1 step or 2 steps, your final answer when you're reducing is still going to end up being the same. I think I'm going to try divide by 4. I'm pretty sure 84 divided by 4 is probably 21. All right, 21, and I know 100 divided by 4 is 25. So reduce, reduce, reduce. Okay, sometimes percents are odd. Just follow the same rules. Okay. Okay, those answers still seem odd. This one feels weird because you have a decimal and a fraction at the same time. Whatever math you're having to do is still going to work completely fine. If it's really bothering you, like it is me, you can multiply this by 10 and this by 10, and you get 23 out of 1,000. And in my world, that looks a lot better. But seriously, full marks, it doesn't matter. And the same thing here. I'm going to multiply by 10, and multiply by 10, and that's going to give me 7 out of 1,000. Whoops, one more 0. There we go. This looks weird on so many levels. Okay, I guess I called them odd, weird, as you wish. 1, it's what's called an improper fraction. It's been a while since you've gone through the vocabulary, but improper fraction means the top number is bigger than the smaller, it's bigger than the bottom, or if I say it nice and mathy, the numerator is bigger than the denominator, and it's not reduced. So number 1, I'm going to divide by 10 by just crossing off those zeros, and that's going to give me 15 over 10. And then I can divide by 5, divide by 5. And this is going to give me 3/2. Anyway, I've got it to a fraction, which is what we needed to do. Okay, so use 100 in denominator. I'm going to put and reduce. There, ta-da. All right, next one. Whoopsies. Converting a percent to a decimal. Well, the easiest way, just divide by 100. And you will never, ever, ever, ever go wrong. And honestly, when I teach, there's a section in Math 30 of finance. Every single time there's a percent, the first thing we do is convert it, is divide it by 100 to convert it over to a decimal, because all of our formulas work with decimals, not percents. So 34 divided by 100 is 0.34, 0.98, oopsies. You can see this isn't the rule I use. There we see, yes. So 34 divided by 100, whoop, there we go. 98 divided by 100. And we can keep doing that. See, those ones, it's like, I feel like I know the answer. When I get something like this, 6%, sometimes I get a little nervous. I want to make sure I don't screw it up. So 6 divided by 100. See, because I'm like, is it 0.6? Is it 0.06? Or is it something else? Then I know for sure I get it right. 0.06. 458 divided by 100. And this is another one that makes me feel sketchy. 2.7 divided by 100. All right, 0.027. There we go. So that's one way to do it. Second choice is move, which is actually what I was doing. Decimal place. No, not decimal. Move decimal 2 spaces left. There. Oh, and just hold on. This is what we're doing. And by the way, I don't care which method you use, as long as you're able to do it. So if there's no decimal, you can put it at the end of the number. So my decimal belongs there. I go 1, 2, 0.75. If you're doing a bunch of these, I would ask you sweetly to make the decimal a little on the bigger side, so I don't have to squint and try and figure out what's going on. Let's do this one. So 1 decimal place, 2 decimal place, 0. And yes, I want the 0 in front. 3, 4, 8, 9. 25 decimals at the back. I put in there 0.25, 1, 2. So it's 0 decimal 0, 0, 2, 3. So that's why I make the loops. In every one of those loops, I know there has to be a 0 in there, and I also need the 0. There's my decimal 1, 2. And that makes sense because I know that 100% is 1 or a whole. So when I had 532%, I knew that's got to be like a whole number and some decimals. And last one, 1, 2, 0.049. All right. So as I said, doesn't matter to me which way you do those conversions, whatever works for you. Last one, converting a decimal to a percent. Use that in the finance section, because you'll do a calculation and you'll get an interest rate as a decimal at the end. And every time excuse me, when it's reported or the answers come out, they're always as percent. So we're just going to go the other way. And you can see if we're converting a decimal to a percent, it's the exact opposite of what we were just doing. And we're going to multiply by 100. So 0.05. It's going to give me 5%. That's going to give me 89.4%. Remember to put your percent signs in there. 1.05 times 100. It's going to be 105. 5%. And this one is 78%. Oh, I guess I should have said, hey, you should pause the video and do the questions. My bad, sorry. So as you can see, I didn't actually do the math on most of those because I use the second one, which is move your decimal 2 places. Now, before we went left, this means we must go right. So 1, 2, 45%. 1, 2, 23%. 1, 2, 3%. I guess technically you could put the 0 in front of that, but it'd be weird. 1, 2. And again, if you remember, all the time that 100% is 1, then 2.5, excuse me, makes sense that it's bigger. 1, 2. All right, now we got to be careful here. 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places. This is going to be 0.2%. 100%. And 1, 2, 23%. Okay. I don't have any extra practice sheets planned out, but hey, if you want a little extra practice on this, just let me know and I'm sure I can find something. Thanks. And that is the end of the video.